Oh, fuck my life. Welcome. I can't put my hands in my heads. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm struggling. Welcome to the Boardcast, the 2022-23 recap, 24 crystal ball. This will probably come out in 2024, so we'll have already screwed some of our crystal balling up. Let's go. I don't know what this one's about.
I don't know the date
over to Claire.
I don't know the date when this is going to release too. So
mid-2024 January or something. Sometime, maybe Feb.
But I also thought it would be a good idea to do a recap, not only of this year, but of 2022, because it was kind of the year that we came out of the pandemic years.
So this one's a business one.
Yeah, very much so.
Okay.
I actually went through my photos and stuff to get a timeline for memory of what happened.
Are you saying that you struggle with the timeline?
No. But one thing I didn't remember was January 2022, we were still doing home deliveries for COVID because people would order online and we were doing home deliveries. There's photos
in 2022 that was still happening.
Yep. I've got photos of us delivering or me delivering stuff around the northern beaches, and then we got Liv Lovelace in to drive around as well. And we were still paying her into January.
Really?
Yeah.
2022 we were still doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow, that was such a mess, that 2-year period.
Yep. And then in 2022 Feb, Japan was still closed. They weren't letting in people. And so our tickets got refunded because we booked them on a hope.
We booked 2021 on a hope.
No, that was 2022. 2020
we knew wasn't going to happen. So 2021, we didn't buy tickets.
I can't even remember. Actually, I think we did it twice and they got refunded.
I think they got refunded twice.
We were just hoping each year.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2022 in Feb, I remember the day that we were getting out of Chatswood, because we closed Chatswood in February, and the day that we got out of that store or started closing and ripping everything out was the flight date that we were meant to fly to Japan.
Yeah,
and you and I were just like, fuck this.
Yeah, it was a big deal closing Japan because we had Scotty as a...
You mean closing Chatswood?
Closing Japan. It was a big deal when I closed Japan. That was a big decision of mine. Affected 130 million Japanese mainly. No, I meant to say Chatswood. It was a big deal closing Chatswood because it affected Scotty.
Yeah. And he moved on to
after 3 years pretty much with us. But because of the 2-year COVID period, he barely worked. So pretty much 2 years out of 3, I guess he was working. And yeah, it affected him big time, but he ended up falling in love with his new alcohol selling job. So he's doing all right. Yeah. Still seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucked closing that store because it was sort of a big part of the plan moving forward. But these things happen. Well, they don't.
No. But at that point, we were like, what are we doing? That was a huge business decision that we made together. And because our direction was bricks and mortar and to grow online too, but it was both of them alongside each other. And we were like, what are we doing? Let's take the money that we're...
I think I have to take the settings off. I feel like an idiot. No, I don't. That light is really bright. It's heaps better, actually. I can't do it. I'll wear them for Chunk. He loved them. All right. I'm having a bit of a schizophrenic moment at the moment. I'm not sure whether to wear settings or not.
Yeah. Closed Chatswood and we made the business call to transition that money that we were spending on running that store into marketing for online.
Yeah. which may or may not have been a good move, but I don't think the Chatswood store would have worked in the current climate. I think it's like having multiple stores right now is not the way to go.
Do you think it was a good business decision?
To get out?
Yeah.
I just feel like that 2-year period was so rough that we were caught in such a hard place with our business as an overall thing. Like, we needed to kill some costs, and the rent up there was significant for the size of the place. And yeah, I mean, we thought it through. We went down the south coast. I know you were already down there or something, and I came down for a couple of days. And
good memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made
went
the
for
decision.
a run or a walk or a mega bushwalk or something.
Yeah.
Exhausted ourselves to the point of breaking, and we made decisions.
We walked that path in the bloom it was some hike, and it like got to the end and it was like, end of trail, turn around.
Yeah, it's like, fuck off. Make it a loop. Yeah, that was brutal. It was like, oh, cool. So we just walked 5 Ks one direction, and now you just turn around and walk back.
Yeah. For the people who don't know Al, he's not a very outdoorsy hiking person.
No, we saw a snake.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, made that decision in January, closed in Feb, and transitioned that money into online. And then also in the rest of this year was actually some big things that kind of set us up for this coming year. In
this year, you mean?
Sorry, my brain as well.
So 2022 was a setup year. We had to re-establish because of COVID.
Yeah, so we closed Chatswood in February, and then in June we bought.
Hang on, what happened to May? Al got kidney stones.
Yeah, I read that. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that or not.
It says on the board there, May, Al gets kidney stones, 2nd time.
Yeah,
brutal.
it was.
Al thought he was going to die again.
Yeah.
Was that the second
time,
Yeah.
And you were out for 3 weeks or something, 2 or 3 weeks. It was the really bad ones when you had like 6 of them.
For those of you who have never had a kidney stone, the pain is on a level that's hard to describe, especially when they get right up to that maximum non-operable point, which is seemingly what happens to me. Twice it's happened, and they're 4.5 millimeters, and they go, oh, we can operate when it gets to 5 mil. And it's like, mate, I'll just go away and grow it for a bit longer. What is that? Like, just get it out of me. And they don't get it out of you. They just turn you into a junkie by giving you immense amounts of fentanyl and endone and, like, I don't even know, like a whole lot of opioids that don't sit well with me. I struggle with them. I genuinely become a heroin addict in the space of like a week. It's bad. So
was that, I don't know if you want to cut this out or not, but was that the time that you ate the weed cookie? And
yes, it was.
Your family knows, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about my children, but my wife definitely knows. Yeah, that was okay.
Cut that out if you need to.
We'll throw this in for now, and we'll make a decision later. So, who gave me those? I probably shouldn't mention. Oh, okay. We'll throw her under the bus.
Sorry. I'm just talking like this is a normal conversation.
So somebody gave me some cookies, weed cookies, and said, "You're in heaps of pain. Just try these." And I had them and didn't, the usual. Didn't do anything, so I had another one, and then another one, and then about probably an hour and a half, 2 hours later, they hit me like a freight train, and I had the worst night of my life. I was full on like hallucinating, losing my mind, but that morning or something, the kidney stone passed, and like I didn't sleep a wink that night. It was just next level pain, but I was so out of it. I didn't know what was going on. It was pretty crazy actually, but yeah, that passed the kidney stone. So yeah, turns out that your kidneys are what processes a lot of THC, and it's not a good idea if your kidneys aren't working properly to have weed cookies because they process really slowly, and it's just hung in there for like 12 or 14 hours. It was horrendous. So yeah, maybe that'll get edited out.
Maybe. Yeah. But the reason I put that in there was because that was the second time and
last.
And I remember I was like broken by the end of those 3 weeks. I had my best friend's wedding that I like had to make, and I was like, and you were like, I'll be back, don't worry. And
yeah, I came back pretty quick, considering how bad it was. But these are the things that happen when you have a business.
Yeah.
One of the two partners can go down pretty hard, and it all falls on the other one because no one else is going to be able to step in. So
the other thing that I also found is moving on to June of 2022 is when we bought these microphones. So it's taken us over a year and coming up to a year almost, a year and a half to actually get a podcast recorded and out. Because we had so many technical issues, we couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, we didn't have anyone who knew what they were doing. Yeah, had mixing problems. And anyway, doing a podcast is really hard, everyone. Yeah. You need good people to do that, producers.
And we have that now.
Yeah, Jamie, Violet, Olive. She does it. Cindy, that's a new name.
But yeah, I've just got so used to like ignoring your like stupidity.
Yeah, right. Clearly.
You're trying to like fish, and I just go, okay, anyway. The snow season of 2022 was huge. So June, we signed the lease to the office space that we're sitting in now, upstairs. Because we had a warehouse in Dale Street that was massive, like 400 square meters.
Yeah, just a little correction too. In the very first podcast we did, I kept saying we had a Dale Street warehouse. That was the wrong street. We ended up with a Dale Street warehouse. Yeah. In between, we had a giant warehouse at Cross Street.
Yeah, but then we had something before that too.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the street. Other side of Brookvale, it was much smaller.
Yeah.
So Dale Street was like 400 square meters.
Yeah. And then the print shop was working out of there. Borders had it as storage. And then we like rented space out to other people as well to use that space.
Even had a bed in it for Scotty. Yeah. I stayed in there 1 week because someone had COVID.
Your wife, your whole family.
My whole family had COVID, and I couldn't get it because that would have just been horrendous. So I slept in this horrible warehouse environment for a week.
Paris stayed there while she had her shoulder recovery.
That's true, yeah. All of these things happen without the landlord knowing, so we don't have that building anymore, so sucked in. Yeah. And then we signed the lease to up here, and it did not look like... It's just a lease, not a leased. I'm going to do this. I can't let it slide. All the people out there listening are going, she's saying leased?
We leased this space.
Yeah, but you don't sign a leased.
Okay, we signed a lease.
Hey, what does everyone think about...
Violet's like, oh my God.
What does everyone think about doing a whole podcast on words Claire can't say?
No, that's a terrible idea.
Because
it'll go for 1 minute.
No, it won't. It'll go for 1 hour. I can think of 10 off the top of it. Okay, let's not get into this. 5? Are you saying Max. 5 or stop? I'm not sure what the hand means.
Max 5.
No, dude.
I can say a lot of the words now. I've improved.
You've been practicing, I admit. But I still... Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm good now.
Talk for another day. So we moved out of the warehouse.
We signed the lease for up here.
Well done.
And it was stuck in the 1950s.
This building was so bad.
It had vinyl wood on the walls.
Wallpaper.
And it had carpet from the 1950s. It had those air cons that stuck in the windowsill. It was just horrendous. So we did an entire month or something like that renovating up here.
Yeah, right in the middle of winter.
In the middle of winter.
In the busiest snow season, arguably ever.
Yep, and that we couldn't get stock because of the trickle-on effect from COVID.
Yeah. So
it was we had no stock, and every single person was going to the snow. It was the craziest snow season we've ever had, and there wasn't enough stock. We were renovating upstairs and getting out of the 400 square meter warehouse.
So hindsight says closing that Chatswood store was a good move because we wouldn't have been able to stock it.
The fact that we did close Chatswood meant that we had all of the stock that was meant to, because we were buying for 2 stores at that point in time.
Yeah.
So we closed the Chatswood, and then all of that, we didn't cancel any of that stock.
I'm not sure that's even the case, because I think a lot of that stock came in 2023. Who knows, because of the way we order, which is another thing that if you want to go out there and start your own business, you got to think about. We actually order our snow stock between 12 and 18 months ahead of time. So a lot of that stock turned up this year for winter, which was a terrible winter.
Yeah. So just to give everyone an idea, we just finished the buying period for 2025.
Yeah. So we did 2 orders. We placed, and it's December 23, and we just finished doing our orders for December or November 24 plus April, May 25.
Yeah.
And we have to predict what's going to happen this summer as far as travel goes, next winter, and try and get it right for the following winter and summer season.
Yeah.
Which is
crazy.
impossible.
So crazy.
That's why you end up with bad size breaks and,
fashion changes for outerwear. It's crazy.
So when you see margin and you think, all these retailers must be making so much money, it is nearly impossible to get it spot on.
Mm.
You're always having to cut prices on stock that doesn't work. So, it's not as simple as it sounds to just order stock and sell it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was a crazy 3 months. Just busiest shop, renovating, moving out of that. And there was so much old shit in that warehouse that we had to get rid of, and moving the print shop.
All our tuning machines died.
Yep. And then we bought new tuning machines.
That was at the end of the 22 season. Yeah.
Yep. We had to get the sticker machine into upstairs, because where we're sitting is the office space. It's like 130 square meters, 150 square meters, space above the retail shop. And there's like a tiny little stairway to get up.
Which
and
we
didn't
think about at all.
And we have gigantic printing machines and sticker machines. So on the day we had to hire a crane to lift the sticker machine.
There's probably photos or video of that we might be able to insert here, JMO. I don't know. That was
You're
crazy.
on one tonight.
Oh, dude, I had a rough day. JMO was mean to me all morning.
It's going to sound like we've got multiple people sitting back there.
There's just
Violet,
one person
Olive, and
there.
Jamie, and now JMO.
Her name's Violet, but I don't like that name. So I'm just going with whatever comes to my mind at the time.
Wait, studies are back on.
Violet's mean to me, so I try to come up with new names hoping she'll change.
Do you know what this is like? Bert and who was it? The guy that they had behind the camera, and they didn't get along for ages.
Nadav.
Nadav. Yeah. He's
that?
like, fuck you, Nadav.
Two bears, one cave. So Bert and Nadav, they ended up making up one time when Tom went through. Anyway, we're talking about someone else's podcast. This is so dumb. All right, August. What happened in August? So the winter was long and hard. The machines all died in the tuning room. We were sticky taping them back together. I remember getting my old boss to buy a spring from somewhere because I couldn't find a spring for one machine. It was crazy how glued together those things were by the end of that season.
And then I found a business down in Jindy that was closing down and selling off everything, and they were a rental shop and had tuning machines. So you didn't snowboard that season, and I did. I can't remember why you didn't.
Because I was working. Just saying.
I worked too.
Yeah.
Don't
a
worry.
little bit.
And then I went down there and I took heaps of photos and videos, and I remember coming back being like, wow.
I didn't work.
You didn't look at them.
No, I never looked at them. I also know why I didn't snowboard that season, because I hurt my knee.
Yeah, I knew there was a reason.
I blew out my knee climbing.
And yeah.
My hamstring or knee or something. I had some injury, and it literally lasted the season.
It was your ankles too.
Ankle, knee, just skateboarding flare-ups.
Because when we went to Japan, you were in agony still.
Yeah, I got through it though. I toughed it out.
But yeah, we...
Don't edit that out.
That's staying in.
J-Lo.
That's going in the little reel that's on our Instagram feed forever.
Cool.
But I remember saying to you, like, you've got to come look at these machines. Like, I don't know machinery.
Yeah, I didn't realise they were so big.
Yeah, and I remember taking measurements for you and, like, everything.
We went down after trade show, right? We went to the Canberra trade show. So when's that? September, October 22.
Yeah, I had seen them previously and gone to check them out, and then...
Yeah, no one took a tape measure though, did they?
Yeah, I did. I measured them.
Did you?
And then you'll be like, yeah, it'll be all right, we'll get them in. And I was like, Al, you need to come look at these machines. Like, you need to come even use them so you know how to use them. And then we didn't do that. We went down after trade show to pick them up, and we had the ute and we chucked, and we also had hired a freight company to get them from Jindy back to Sydney. And they had to we got there and they had to take out the whole shop front windows.
They took it out with a bit of wood in the end. They just smashed it.
Smashed the shop front windows. And this machine is giant.
It weighs probably half a ton, maybe more.
Yeah.
I don't even know. It's a huge machine.
And it's like 1.2 maybe by 1.2.
We'll put a photo in here.
And now you're just doing it to piss her off.
I know it's heaps of extra work for JMO.
But yeah, they were a nightmare to transport.
Yeah, but...
And then when they got here, there was only... It was
just me and Jess.
It was the two Monaro freight guys, and they were like
massive
big
dudes. 120 kilo monsters.
Who do this for a living.
Yeah. Plus
the two shop owners, plus you, and... We had like 4 men all trying to do it and get it into the truck.
Yeah.
And then at the other end, got it into the truck, and at the other end, I was like, fuck, it's just going to be me and Jez.
So the dude who delivered it knew what he was doing. He got it off the truck.
I remember holding it, and it was like millimeters to get it off. And then he goes, we're just going to have to let it drop. And I was like, what? And I'm standing there holding it, and then it just goes, because it didn't fit on the tailgate. He's like, you don't have a forklift? And we were like, no.
We don't even have a fork.
They'd moved it on the opposite ways of the crate that it was sitting on.
Yeah, they'd turned it around for transport, so it was completely the wrong way. But anyway, we got it in.
Yeah, you had to cut out how many walls?
Yeah, just one wall.
Two?
2 walls. We cut out 2 walls. But it made the walkway better. Anyway, it was good. Then Jez and I Egyptian tacticked it in.
Yeah.
And we actually said at the end, like we were talking about at the end, maybe humans did make the pyramids. Like we were like, if we can move a half-ton machine with 2 people with no machinery other than just the ability to get it on a... Yeah, we had no real wheels. We had nothing.
You had the forklift roller. The old tuning machine is sitting on it at the back of the shop.
We didn't have that. That was brought in later. We had a car jack. We had 2 car jacks and some wood.
Okay.
It was gnarly. Anyway, we did it.
Well, following
on
from that...
It's one of my proudest moments.
Following on from that, do you want to talk about the electricity to wire that machine?
No.
I get a phone call and Al goes, so we've blown up the building's electricity and we've blown the fuse... It
wasn't entirely our fault.
...out to the street.
Yeah. We blew up everything. 3-phase. You don't mess with 3-phase if you don't know what you're doing. Was the end of the short version of events was don't mess with 3-phase.
Yeah.
Even if an electrician's telling you how to do it on the phone, if they're not there, don't do it. It can.
And didn't the electrician
came and blew it up properly? Everything was wrong. The building was wired backward. Apparently. That's the story we heard. I don't know. Apparently they wired the whole thing backwards back in the day. I don't know when that day was, but early days it was all wired backwards. So the Sparkies were plugging it in and everything was backwards. So It just went pop. Yeah.
So I remember you blew up the machines.
Blew up everything.
Blew up the machine.
The electrical and machine, yeah.
And its power board or whatever it is.
It cost us thousands to get fixed.
And then blew up the shop's electricity and the street's fuse as well.
Yeah, we got it all back on. You told me to talk about positives. How's that a positive? The positive is the machine works great now and we do amazing quality tunes because it's an awesome machine. Stone grinder, belt grinder. We don't use the stone grinder because it destroys boards very easily.
And now we've got a really good side edger as well.
Yeah, it just improved our whole workshop situation.
Yeah, and you got way more space now that we don't have walls.
Except for the fact the machine takes up the entire workshop, but yeah, it's great. It works really well, and we're doing the best quality work we've ever done. Yeah. So yeah, that was the back end of 22.
So yeah, 2022.
But we actually had a good year, 22. Like we were completely on top of things because the snow season was so good that it basically covered the cost of all the stock and recovered a bit. Finally, like it helped us recover from COVID a little bit. Not that it completely did, but skateboarding was turning off and we didn't notice. That was a big factor in 2022 that we not really ever talked about. But because the snow season was so good, skateboarding was turning off and it was not evident really because the turnover was so good that we were like, oh, everything's sweet. And there was enough skate going out the door that you're like, it's all right, but in stark reality, 2022 Christmas was not a strong skateboard Christmas, and it hasn't really bounced back since.
But you were aware of that.
So I was aware that it was tapering, but we didn't realise that it switched off. It literally switched off. Skateboarding
after the Olympics,
mid-22, late 21, I guess, it started to taper. After the Olympics, it tapered off. We had that little patch of craziness after the Olympics, but then it tapered off. 21 Christmas was still pretty good for skateboarding, but it slowed all the way through 22, and by the end of 2022 it was off and it hasn't come back on for no rhyme nor reason. I've got 1,000 theories we won't get into, but
not tonight.
2023 has been a very slow skateboard year, like never before, and I've done this 27 years. I've never seen it as quiet as it is.
But there has been a lot of, now we're into 2023.
Yeah.
And 2023 has had its challenges this year and a lot of obstacles, but there has been some huge pivots from us as business owners and also some huge improvements with the way that we're doing things. Yeah. And the staffing too, like there's a staffing shortage as well.
Yeah, there was massive problems with staffing. We were like, I guess January, we found Susie, right?
Yeah.
So she came because one of our business partners in Climb High Club, which we'll talk about later.
We started that in June.
No. But our current business partner in Climb High Club's sister, I was already climbing with Meg. She worked at the bouldering gym. We met Susie through Meg, so we got Meg's sister started, and she turned out to be really good. No experience though, zero, like skateboarding, snowboarding experience. So we've just used her for her strengths.
Yeah, which has been awesome because she came to us and was like, "Why are you guys not on TikTok?"
Yeah,
and so
I said because it's stupid.
So she's helped us start that.
Yeah. And
then also she
had a really good eye for fashion. She's got a really good eye for the shop merching
and then she started in January, which then also enabled us in Feb to go to Japan because we had staff.
3 years in the making.
Yeah.
They opened Japan.
So
we were going to go to Bulgaria.
Yeah, I remember that.
Thank God we didn't do that. Apparently they had no snow. So
we went.
A disaster.
We went for the longest we've ever gone, which was a month.
Which we realised you can't do that. Another tip for business owners: don't abandon your business for a whole month. It's probably too long.
Yeah. And
Good trip though.
yeah, we had some amazing snow.
Yep.
We had some warm patches
Yep.
in the weather over there, which helped us start our new business venture, which is secondhand vintage clothing. And we were talking about it in 2020 when we did our Japan trip then. And it was just an idea. And we were like, fuck, it'd be cool. And then because this Japan trip in 2023, we were there for a month. So we had a lot of down days where we weren't riding because there was travel days and
there was average snow conditions at times. Like we had amazing days, but in between were very average Japan days.
Yeah, it would like dump for a few days and it'd be sunny and warm for a few days. So we were like, fuck, what do we do? And then we were talking about it again, and it definitely aligns with me and what I like. I love vintage clothing and I love the whole secondhand reuse it market in fashion. So we kind of were just like, should we do it? And we kind of just jumped in.
Yeah, I just love it's weird. I love shopping for clothes that I would never wear.
You actually had fun doing it.
Yeah, I love it. I actually love it. I'm not a guy who'd go to a mall and shop. I hate the idea of that. It's probably up there for something that I would absolutely never do. But secondhand and vintage shopping or searching and like just finding contacts and trying to figure out how to do it, it's a whole different thing. I love it. Absolutely love it. And I love like buying stuff that's like nuts and going, someone's going to love this.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, do you reckon you love it because of the like uniqueness and because it reminds you so much of the 90s where you didn't dress like everything else in the mall store?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't love where skateboard fashion's gone. I can't wrap my head around $70 t-shirts. I find that as a skateboarder, like I don't know how people are handling this. It's crazy. Like some of these brands are charging what I consider to be just extraordinary money for a t-shirt. And if we can go get cool stuff that's made really well, some of it's US made, a lot of it's made in Japan. Like we're finding it from wherever, right? We're finding some amazing quality product that we can bring back and sell for half that.
And it's so unique too.
Yeah, you're not going to see anyone else in it.
Yeah.
How good is that? Go to the pub and not see a guy across the bar from you wearing the same shirt because you all went to the same warehouse site. It's just crazy to think that everybody wants to wear the same thing. Or, you know what? I don't think they want to. I think they're just being trapped into that's what happens, you know?
Do you know what I heard some customers say in the store the other day? They're like, fuck, it's cool that it's like a vintage shop for guys. Like so many vintage shops that are in the city are like got so like it's heavily skewed towards women's fashion.
I think because women are buying it, right? They're going and finding it. Women will buy more clothes than men, I'd say. I mean, I'd buy nothing. So,
but I like that we're doing mainly men's fashion because
it's really only. I haven't done
but
anything.
girl, like with this whole fluidity with fashion at the moment too, the girls wear guys shit. I do. I always have. Yeah,
you always have. And I think you can make a case for, you know, a lot of what we're buying is unisex, I guess. Anyway, it's not like a lot of it's smaller sizing, especially if we're getting it from Asia. Like it tends to be smaller anyway. So yeah, there's plenty of cool stuff. I mean, little Jamie, who used to work for us, came in on the weekend and bought a shirt and hustled us for a deal, and he was not leaving without that shirt. And it's a one of a kind. Like no one's going to have that thing. You couldn't find it in this country if you tried. So I love it. I enjoy doing it. I think it's something that we should continue to do, and I think it's done really well.
Yeah.
People are starting to buy it, so get in here and get some. We've got heaps.
Yeah. But it was very much like, do you think we jump into things too quickly?
Not really. I mean, that was thought out. We didn't, I admit we took a punt the first time. I think we bought $5,000 or $6,000 worth of stuff with our own like cash. We didn't use business money.
Yeah.
So it was money injected into the business to start it.
Yeah.
without a great deal of like thought, but I thought we were really cautious about what we were buying.
Do you think that is one of the reasons why you and I work really well as business partners, because of our ability to analyze a situation quickly, but also jump in knowing the risks?
I think it's riskier because we don't analyze as well as we should, but there's no one stopping anyone. I think that could, like, if you're a traditional business that's all about just making profit,
or it's got to be pre-planned on a business
plan. You got the same one. Yeah, I think it is highly risky what we do, but I do. We're talking about something new today. It's like it's kind of insane, but at the same time, like I sort of sit there going, well, I mean, I'm sure I've said this before on other podcasts. If you don't take a risk, how are you going to find out?
Confucius once said.
I doubt Confucius was talking about business risks, but if Confucius was a businessman, he would say, take a risk. I don't know. We definitely enable each other. We don't. There's no one being a handbrake in our relationship.
Oh, I think so.
Who, you?
You definitely. At times, you do have a level of logic to you, and you've got this is why our business relationship works. You've got 26 years of experience and knowledge. So when I'm going, hey, I want to do this and jump into this, you're like, yeah, cool, but think about this and think about this and let's do it like this. And then when you go, this is fucking cool, I go, the idea's cool, but it's kind of like it needs to be brought into the future.
Yeah, I mean, monetizing things is a different thing to just having a crack, right? Even at this point, the vintage thing is still negative. Like, we've spent way more than we've made, but we're sitting on an amazing amount of quality stock. Mm-hmm. So it will make money eventually. It's just like we've done no marketing yet, right?
No.
By the time this comes out, we may have, but we definitely haven't pushed that yet. We've just let it organically filter into the business. It's funny, we had an old rep that we don't deal with anymore come in to the store last week, and he said, you guys have done a really good job of integrating this vintage stuff. He didn't pick up on it being vintage until he saw the swing tags that say it. He was like, oh, that's cool. He was thinking that it was all just unique pieces. He didn't really realize. So it's got enough of a skate vibe. I think he ended up walking out of here with a Gons jacket. And I thought, well, you know what? If we've managed to sneak it past, I guess he's not a skate guy, he's a snow guy, but it sort of snuck past that untrained eye that it was even vintage at first. So we've done a really good job of buying the right stuff for our customers. Like, we're trying to buy vintage skate feel stuff. There's a little bit of crazy stuff in there, like, there's a Playboy tracksuit that's never going to sell.
Someone buy it because it's fucking sick.
That's one of hers, not mine.
But I think that's the uniqueness of us doing this vintage, because we're passionate in it and we find joy in sourcing these items, that we're not bulk buying it and just going, yes, sweet, ship us like kilos of it. We're actually sorting through and hand picking it, because
it's not being done by kilos. Screw that. We're buying stuff that we want to sell.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing we do with everything.
Yeah.
Well, that philosophy has been the whole philosophy from the start. Buy what you sell. Buy what you love to sell.
Yeah. I think that on our About page, all it says is like, we sell what we love. Yeah. That's our motto.
Yeah. So I don't see a problem in pivoting.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I mean, I saw an ad today on Instagram for 12 board store, and they're selling bikes. And I'm like, that's not a board. That's weird. Like, why are you selling a bike? But at the end of the day, if those guys are into bikes, electric bikes, I presume, if that's what they're into, cool. I mean, given our name's a little bit more distinct, it is actually boarders. That's problematic if you want to sell something that's not a board.
I think this is where you're getting hung up on the idea that we were talking about today.
Today's idea is a little bit left of field, because it's footwear, apparel, skate, snow is all boarding. This other thing's not. So you're kind of going, I don't know. I mean, we drew a line in the sand with scooters. We drew a line in the sand with roller skates, and we could have sold all that stuff over the years and made heaps of money, but we just didn't. We weren't into it.
But that line in the sand was because you didn't love those sports.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
Not because you didn't want to sell them. It's because you didn't want to sell them because you didn't love them.
True. I still don't. Scooters are stupid. Rollerblades are stupid. Yeah, I mean, look, it goes back to that very first episode where we talked about wakeboards. The moment Mike, I actually thought about that since that episode, that first recording. Mike took the wakeboard stuff with him. It was part of his buyout. Was here's all this wakeboard junk. I don't want it. You take it with you. So I think that's why we stopped selling it immediately. It went with him. And there were two mics in that original episode, and it got confusing, and I apologise. The two mics know who you are. So then what? I guess we had probably one of the more disappointing winters this year.
Yep.
Which you can't make it sound positive. It sucked.
That's just the snow season that happened.
It is part of being a snow retailer. You're going to have bad ones.
It's the weather. It's global warming.
Is it? Or is it just unlucky?
We've always had
Australia.
It's Australia. You'll have good seasons, you have bad seasons.
Yeah, I know.
But I've never seen a season that warm.
Yeah, look, maybe there's some serious climate change going on. I mean, it's hard to deny that there's any, but...
Then again, 22? Did we have a good...
Yeah, it was okay. 22 wasn't mind-boggling. It just had a lot of people going. It didn't rain. Yeah. 22 had not a ton of snow, but no rain. So it's all relative, right? It's all what the weather decides to do. I don't know if Australian seasons will get better. I doubt it. I think they're probably going to get worse, but I think people always want to go snowboarding. I mean, God, the mountains just got their act together. No offense, Perisher, Threadbow, Falls.
We're going to need to cut this section out. It's gone so negative.
No, this is not negative. If those ski resorts, and I don't know if it's because their hands are tied with national parks or whatever, but if those places got their act together and put more lifts in, made it more consumer friendly so that you're not standing in a 45-minute to an hour-long line, people will go.
Can I put a little asterisk? And when we say don't add lifts, like add more lifts, I mean, don't replace a T-bar for a lift. No. Add more lifts into more areas outside of your current boundary.
Yeah, which may or may not be a national parks thing. And if it is a national parks thing, then national parks need to look at it because they're probably making an absolute killing off it. So let us go snowboarding. Let us go snowboarding. There's that much snow in this country that is unridden. It's wild to think that they've decided, we can just have this little shit area and watch out for the pygmy possums. Fuck off. Let us go snowboarding. There is so much snow out there. Let us use it. We pay our fees to get in the park. We pay our taxes. The bloody park is covered in snow. We're not going to damage anything by skiing on it or snowboarding on it. It's nuts.
But
build better parks. That's another thing, please.
If they open up more range, will they then have to open up in summer for hikers and mountain bikers?
I don't care about summer. I don't think the mountain bikers are complaining about lack of terrain. They're only at Threadbow anyway, aren't they?
I don't know.
Who cares? I'm not interested in your mountain biking. I'm saying in winter, there's that much snow-covered area in Australia and we're using up 1% of it. It's wildly stupid that we don't open more of it up to accommodate more people and make it easier. The whole industry would thrive. Jobs will go through the roof. More people will go. It is a potential monster and they're not, I don't know what wing of government needs to be slapped over the back of their head to get this sorted, but sort it out. Hope lots of people watch this. I was
going to say, this is like ours rants.
I'm having a snow grosso moment.
Yeah.
It's just stupid, man. Like, build bigger snowboard parks, skateboard parks. Build bigger snow ski parks. Make it more appealing to people. Put more T-bars in so you can access that park better. do whatever it takes to make Australian snow unique.
And I also understand that Australia doesn't get the snow that overseas gets. But if I didn't have to wait in a 45-minute line and it was like a 5-minute line every time.
This is so negative. We're never going to sell another snowboard again.
I would love Australia.
Yeah, Australia's fun.
Like during the week's fine because there's no lift lines, but it's the weekend.
Yeah, even during the week it's getting pretty bad at Perisher.
This is just a stab at
It's a bit of a stab at Vale Group. The whole way that it's been operated since Vale Group took over is questionable.
Mm.
You know, they do nothing for us. We fund their business by selling product for their people to go ride their business. What do they do for us? Vale Group have never offered us a thing. They're not helping themselves, you know. They don't really. Anyway, they're a $1 billion company making billions of dollars. So,
well, one thing that
something really offensive. Then, anyway, moving on.
Speaking of things that we did do,
we employed some twat called JMO.
We did employ Violet.
Yeah, she's great.
In June or July?
Was it July?
July. And
we lost Paris in August, right?
We did, yes.
So she's been with us for 4 years. Pretty much 2020. No, I don't think it was 4 years. Maybe she was around pre-pandemic.
No, she started in 2020 because she was coming into the office going...
4 years? 3.5 maybe.
Something.
Whatever. Yeah.
She came into the office and was like, I'm bored. Can I have a job?
Yeah, she was really good. Paris was a very, very important part of the sales side of Borders for a long time. So
yeah, she was amazing. She did so much here.
Yeah, she looked after a lot of things that we're finding out since she left because now we're doing it. But Violet's taken over podcast, marketing.
And content creation and so many things. Yeah. Full wheelhouse.
So what else happened in winter? Nothing apart from Claire eating shit and breaking her wrist. No, hang on. Dislocated wrist, broken arm.
End of the snow season. Broke the radius and dislocated my wrist. And complete tear of my ACL.
On a side hit, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen Claire tumble down the hill in what looked like a snowboarding car crash, and I ride down to her and go, "You're right." She goes, "Yeah, I'm fine. Everything's good." And she does a little tiny side hit and annihilates herself with enough injuries that I've never got, touch wood, I've never had that many injuries in one slam. That's wild. Yeah. So here we go. The next month or two was pretty rough.
Not a fun time. My ACL didn't hurt because it was a complete rupture, so that wasn't painful at all. So I was walking on my leg straight away.
When did you have wrist surgery? Pretty quickly, right?
I got back, and the next week I had surgery, and then that was like they say 8 weeks to recover, but I was in a cast for 1, and then I was in a splint for like 3 or something like that, and then I went in to get my knee like checked out and booked in for surgery, and they're like, "Yep, sweet, we'll call you in 3 months or something like that." So I thought it was going to be in like December or January, but they called me up start of November. So
a lot happened between then. I think you had your wrist surgery, right? You recovered from your wrist surgery. We went back to Japan.
Yeah, I remember that because
it was only like 10 minutes ago. It was October. What do you mean? I remember that.
Dude, this year has been hectic.
Yeah, there's a lot happened.
Yeah.
We just spurred at the moment when this vintage thing's going pretty well. We better go get more.
Yeah. We also skipped over the part where we started another business outside of Borders.
Yeah. When was that?
In June. We launched in June. So it started
May, April,
or something.
May.
We started
I think I mentioned it before, Climb High Club it's called.
We're both wearing it.
Yeah, we're both wearing it. Weird.
A climbing brand with 2 other people as well.
We brought in 2. We'll do a podcast with those guys. That'll be fun. Jojo will be cooked. Meg will be ADD as hell. And we'll be just us. So, yeah. 4 of us started a little climbing brand on the side, but we can
Yeah.
talk more about that later.
Yeah, and then we went to Japan for a bike
vintage
trip, and it was hectic.
It was stupid. We
Yeah.
tried to do like a 3 weeks worth of work in 6 days, 7 days.
We did, I think, a pre and post little podcast on it. I think we just talked about
We
ramen.
talked about ramen.
I actually said to Violet,
Ramen.
I said
Ramen.
to Violet today, I was like, I'm missing ramen.
Is it ramen or ramen?
I say ramen.
I think
You both say
it's ramen. I say ramen because I'm lazy and I'm Australian, but I think it's ramen. Anyway, who cares? I miss it too. There's one place. Oh my god. Anyway, we better not do this. Yeah, that trip was wild. It was too quick and too hectic.
Yeah, there was nights where we were like going for dinner at midnight.
Yeah, it was stupid.
It was crazy.
Live and
really,
learn.
really long days.
Yeah, we didn't expect it to be as difficult as it was from the previous trip. We made a few mistakes, but part of business, making mistakes. So then we went back in for knee surgery in November.
Yeah, in November.
And
And that was
no wonder I'm tired.
the 2 weeks post that was tough because
Yeah.
I was learning to walk again
Yeah.
and I was in a lot of pain. And then I came back to work on day 12.
Which was way too early
Yep.
because you had about 16 or 17 breakdowns.
Yeah, but that's also because you were going through some shit too.
Yeah, my mum passed away. So after a 6-year battle with a brain disease, my mum died. So yeah, as much as I was like trying to run the place and support you,
I think it was the week.
Oh.
The week I came back, she was dying, and I think she died at the end of that week.
Yeah.
And like I was broken physically, but trying to be there for you and the business because mentally I was okay, but I was fucking going home and collapsing.
yeah, and I was physically okay, but mentally just a mess, like really, really bad. I mean, yeah, 10-year journey with my parents dying ended, and I had a funeral to deal with, a eulogy to write. Yeah, went through a bit, and I couldn't really be there for you other
Yeah,
than just
I think-
be here.
Yeah.
Physically, I was not mentally able to support your knee thing this time.
Yeah, and then I remember I was coming back and I was pushing myself to get back to work as if nothing had ever happened and I was fine. And because
I'm the
obviously
same.
you were dealing with so much.
I'm still dealing with it. It feels still so raw because I've just been so busy. I haven't had a chance to
Yeah.
reflect on it. I'm hoping that Christmas break will give me a little minute to actually think about what's happened this year. It's been a crazy year.
Yeah. It's so funny. I look back at all like the little points and I'm like, fuck, it seems like not that much has happened this year, but fuck,
It's been
there's-
a very average retail year.
yeah. But
That's
we've
the
also had
downside
like,
to this, is that people are not spending money. Everyone's terrified at the moment. The interest rate thing's really slowed the economy down.
yeah. So behind the scenes, you and I are pivoting and taking on new things and expanding in areas, and it's exhausting.
Yeah, we're just trying everything to keep money coming through the front door. You know, the reality is people aren't getting t-shirts printed. There's not a massive demand on skateboarding. Skateboarding's still quiet. I mean, it's not dead. It never will die, but it's quiet. So we're hoping that we're not on some crazy 4-year Olympic cycle. That would be a disaster.
Mm.
But yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, the Japan travel season and sorry, not Japan travel season, the northern, let's face it, it is the Japan travel season, but the northern hemisphere travel season is starting to get some momentum now. But it's all, I mean, we'll be selling the stock that we've got left over from 2023 winter. A bit of new stuff coming in to complement it. Prices are starting to go. So get in before it's too late, people. The big price, I mean, this will be out after the season, I reckon. But
Do you know what I also remembered? My Facebook got hacked.
Facebook hack.
Yeah, and all our marketing went down.
Yeah,
like-
they stole all our money.
Yeah, we got thousands of dollars. Like, I remember just like direct debit, all Facebook, just
What
like
were they-
thousands of
I
dollars.
can't remember how much they took.
It was 10 grand.
Right, from Climb High or Borders or
Borders combined.
Right. So they hacked the marketing Facebook page.
Yeah. Business advice, now that we're all over social media, make sure you have proper security for all of your social media apps. Because I logged out of my Facebook, and in the time that I logged out and logged back in on my computer, they hacked me.
Yeah, it took months for Facebook to. I don't think Facebook ever addressed it.
No, it was, I couldn't get in touch with anyone from Facebook, and they were communicating to me via Facebook.
What other massive company should we rip into today? Vale Group, Facebook, go.
They were contacting me through Facebook Messenger, and I didn't have access to that because I couldn't log in.
Yeah.
And so by the end of it, I ended up paying some
Hackers.
a good hacker, to get back in. And
To the
luckily,
get the bad hackers.
yeah,
Send the good hackers after the bad hackers. What the fuck?
luckily, I had got a new laptop this year, and my old laptop still had all my login black in the history. I don't know.
Either way, that was a
Wasn't-
disaster.
No.
So we were literally hamstrung for a little bit with our marketing. So we had no marketing through a period where we desperately needed marketing. So that was painful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a weird year.
But another positive, we launched this podcast December.
Now by us, not by what you're going to see. But
Yeah.
yeah, finally, after 18 months, roughly, we got one up, and thanks for everyone. Thanks to everyone for watching. The first one made us keep filming them. Mind you, we'd already filmed 8, hadn't we? By the time the first one released, I think we had 8 done. Maybe
Something
7, 8.
We've stopped putting numbers.
Yeah, we're not giving you episodes anymore because this is just going to go on forever.
Okay. So
Oh, 2024. Oh, shit, I hit the thing again. Sorry, JMO.
So 2024, what do you want to see happen?
God damn, I don't know. I'd like to do at least 2
Yeah.
trips to
We've
buy.
already got one booked, and I would like to do a second.
Talking about buying for vintage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be good to do a couple this year. I think we can just blow that whole spot up, especially on the northern beaches. No one's really doing vintage properly, and to be honest, it's not vintage as much as it's used/vintage, but we're keeping the pricing as reasonable as possible. Unless the products are insanely cool and cost us a lot, they'll be kept at a reasonable price. We're not going to be a Newtown. I don't know if Newtown's the right area, actually. We're not going to be a vintage store that's charging $200 for a t-shirt. We're just not going to do that.
No.
We're going to try and keep it cheap. Not cheap. Good value. Cheap's a terrible word. Someone told me that once. Never say cheap. Good value.
I would like to continue to keep evolving Borders' brand and identity.
I'd like to transition into some of the things that we're into today. Not necessarily keep doing just boring old stuff that we were into 10 years ago, like just because we always have. I think the business should evolve around our personalities and our loves and interests, and if that means that we transition away from some of the things we're doing and into new things, then so be it.
Question.
Yeah.
Would you-
Shit, question.
Would you ever
Okay.
change the name?
Well, I don't know. Like you would, sure, but isn't that risky? What are you known as? We called this thing the Boardcast. We can't change the name of the whole business. I think we just have to start accepting that the name doesn't mean anything. It's just a name. Like Coca-Cola sell water. It's called Mount Franklin. You know, it's like Borders is the parent company at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What gets done under that is up to us. Like, you know, we called the vintage thing second to none. I don't know if that's going to stick. or we'll end up just calling it Borders Vintage or whatever. But for now, it's called Second to None, which makes no sense, right? It's a business within a business. So what does it matter? As long as we're evolving in a direction that we're happy with.
Yeah.
Our website's kind of got a bit of everything on it already.
Yeah. We almost have like a parent company that has so many different sub companies or brands underneath it.
Yeah, it's sort of already that.
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean, it's hard to not be that. I mean, I don't know. What is Borders? It's an idea, right? We go back to Ep1. It was an idea. It was an idea that came about on a chairlift. So what is it now? It's an idea that comes about every day when we're chatting. And what direction do you want to go? Well, you know, that's not working, so why don't we try this?
Yeah.
It has to be like that.
Do you know what?
Because I'll get bored really quick if we don't evolve.
Yeah. And
so will you. You're a restless human. We're not sit down and do nothing kind of people. So
no, I'm like, oh, idea, let's run with it.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that's remained true is the motto: sell what you love.
Sell what you love. So I don't know what that is this year yet, or next year. This year. You
kind of do.
Yeah.
You still in love with snowboarding?
Absolutely. And I'll always, as long as I've always said, I've had this stupid saying forever, as long as I can walk, I can snowboard. So there's no age limit on it. I don't think,
Dude, you can't
I'll quit, Nari. I'm fit as I've ever been.
I was going to say, you can't say that age is a factor, because you're at 52 and you are the fittest and strongest that you've been since I've known you.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I don't think about my age much, apart from everyone telling me I'm old all the time. It's really annoying.
Because in your head you're 25.
Well, yeah, I've got a 22-year-old kid, so I definitely in my head am no longer 25, because I'm ultra aware of the fact that I have a daughter about to turn 22 and another one about to turn 17. But I'm still mentally fresh. I don't put a number on it, but I feel good mentally and physically. So, why would I stop snowboarding? Why would I stop climbing? Or I definitely have stopped skateboarding. I don't think I'll ever realistically drop in again. Dude, it's like even climbing, which is a high injury sport, I'm always injured in some way, shape or form, but they're not necessarily, unless you have a massive fall, they're not injuries that just put paid to your ability to go to work or enjoy your life. Skateboarding does that. I've seen what happened to Jez this year.
Oh my God, the last 2 years of Jez's
injuries. That's the other thing. Jez went down hardcore this year.
I don't know if we can talk about. We need to get Jez on for.
He won't talk about it either, I don't think.
He'll probably say, what's the difference? Everyone fucking knows. The guy at the post office knows.
Yeah, he had a horrendous injury this year that took him out for almost a month, I think.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that's what I fear when I go skate. If I was to go skateboarding, I would fear that it's only a matter of time before a big, serious injury, and you can't handle the head knocks as you get older. I've had that many concussions, and it was only a couple of years ago I knocked myself out snowboarding in Japan, where I put my knee into my head, and I was wearing a helmet and I was out cold. So, it scared the hell out of my family, and I just don't need to take that risk with skateboarding. It's concrete. I would struggle to wear a helmet skateboarding, so whereas snowboarding, it's kind of like part of the uniform these days. Everyone wears them. People who aren't wearing helmets snowboarding are just, they're living this fantasy life where they think it can't happen to me. Well, it can, and it will.
Last time I went snowboarding, I was the only one not wearing a helmet.
Okay, so there's certain people in this room who are still idiots.
I put one on.
What happened to you? What were you wearing a helmet the day you broke everything?
No.
So you're super lucky. I'm so dumb, dude.
Was not wearing a helmet prior to that day for those 3 days riding prior, and my partner was like, "You're a fucking idiot, wear a helmet." And I'm like,
because he's smart.
And I'm like, okay, I want to go ride park, so I'll put a helmet on. And
I didn't even get to the park.
No, I was riding park that morning and I did this on the ride out. Down to get lunch. Was just not paying attention and just like launched off a side hit onto the trail and just like
annihilated yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's killed my 2024 snow trip.
2025 is going to happen there.
Yeah, it's a long way off, 2025. I think I'm still probably going to have to duck over. I don't know. We'll see. See what the weather does. Everyone's saying 50-50 on the Northern Hemi snow season, but Japan's always pretty good.
It's looking amazing already.
So far, so good, yeah.
It's
Early
looking
days.
really good.
It's only December. We'll find out. Look, Europe looks really good. Austria, Yo-Yo's in Austria, and she looks like she's skiing every day. It looks unreal over there.
Sick.
Yeah. Every day she's posting stuff. So Austria, I think they had a pretty bad season last year. So. Anyway, we'll wrap it up. So yeah, that's this week's episode of the Boardcast. Have a good one, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Subscribe.
Yeah, don't forget to click like and subscribe.
No, not like.
You've got to like too. I want to know if you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't care. But subscribe. Subscribe. See ya. Peace.